Samantha. I make ASMR, and tonight I'm going to be giving you my AEW All Out 2022 predictions. So the pay-per-view is Sunday. My friend is coming over to watch. I am commandeering the living room TV in my apartment and buying my roommates cookies to thank them for letting me watch for 5 hours. But Labor Day is the next day, so we don't have school. My friend is coming over, doesn't have work. It's gonna be so great. As you can see, I'm in a slightly different background. I am back at school, so I was moving. That's been the lack of videos. I'm also, it is my senior year, so I'm working on my thesis. So very excited, but I am going to be quite busy, so I don't know how often I will get to make these. I'm still going to try and keep up with it so that I don't have these big month-long gaps. But yeah, that's kind of those housekeeping things out of the way. I will hopefully have better lighting. I realized that the disc lamp that I bought doesn't have a bulb in it, so I need to go get a light bulb. So we've got the harsh overhead light, so hopefully that is okay and isn't too intrusive to your sleep and your relaxation. So I wrote my notes down. So, in the words of Jim Ross on this most recent episode of Rampage, how long is this show? 8 hours. It's very stacked, which I will never complain about. We've got a pretty stacked buy-in, 4 matches, so I fear one of those may be cut, and I hope that it's not, but I have fears. So, for the buy-in, we start with Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. I'm going to predict that Eddie is going to win. I don't know a whole lot about Tomohiro Ishii. I believe that we've seen him before, but that is about the extent that I know. So I'm going with what I feel is a safe bet in Eddie Kingston. We have Pac versus Kip Sabian for the All-Atlantic Championship. I'm kind of unreasonably excited about this. I think it's very fun that it's Kip's return. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that he is getting a buy-in pay-per-view match for his return, and Penelope returned on an episode of Dark. So just want to mention that. It's a little sad. But I'm very excited to see the All-Atlantic title defended. I think that Pac's going to win, because I think it's his first All-Atlantic title defense that we're seeing, like, on, it's not even on TV yet, just like on AEW, as opposed to like Dark in a more mainstream type thing. So I'm very excited for this. Whenever I get to see any member of Death Triangle, it is a good day. So very, very exciting. Also on the buy-in, we have Hook versus Cool Hand Angelo Parker for the FTW Championship. I think that Hook's gonna win. Feel like that's a pretty safe bet as well, but I think it'll be a fun match, because I hate the term comedy wrestler because it feels like I'm being mean to them, but it does feel like Angelo Parker's like a little bit of kind of a comedic element to his wrestling, which I love. Wrestling is silly, so embrace it. So I think that that'll be fun to see how they interact with each other. I hope it's not just a squash match where he immediately gets, choked out. I'm hoping that it has a little bit more to it than that. We shall see. then announced tonight on Rampage was the mixed tag match with Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara versus Ruby Soho and Ortiz. I think that this will be fun. It is the third time that we'll be seeing this matchup in 3 weeks. 2 weeks, I think. So that's a little strange to me. I just don't really know how I feel about it, you know? Like, I think it'll be interesting. I kind of think that Ruby and Ortiz might win just because why have this match again if not for a title change? We shall see. And then on to the actual show. So we have House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. I think I keep going kind of back and forth on this because I think that if it was Miro with other people, not that I want him with other people, I'm very excited for this because I want to see Sting wrestle, serve. But if it was Miro either by himself against like a one-on-one or with maybe a different team, I would see him winning kind of outright because of how the story's been building. But I honestly think that we are going to underestimate the use of Julia Hart in this match, which will lead to a House of Black victory. So that is my prediction for that one. And then we have Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. Again, a little bit back and forth, but it almost doesn't matter who wins because what we really want to see is where Daniel Garcia ends up and how he plays into this. So I could see a on-purpose betrayal of Chris Jericho by Daniel Garcia, an accidental betrayal of Chris Jericho by Daniel Garcia, or a blatant show of support for Chris Jericho. So I have 3 outcomes that are probably very well seen by anybody, but I'm gonna say that Bryan's gonna win, and I'm hoping that it's a little bit more outright of Daniel Garcia's show of support for Bryan Danielson, but I could also see an ending where Bryan Danielson wins, Daniel Garcia comes out, Chris Jericho yells at him for some reason, and Bryan like gives Daniel Garcia a hug or maybe a slap in, you know, a masculine way, I guess. So I'll say Bryan. We shall see. Then we have Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Please let Jungle Boy win. I cannot see Christian Cage. You think about all that lettuce here, and you're like, oh my gosh, what a story we have been told. So I hope that Jungle Boy will win after the attempted vehicular manslaughter attempt. I think that would be very fun. And you know, kind of a nice end of the story. I don't really know if this is the end of the story. I don't know where they go after this, but it'll be interesting, I think. Next, we have the Casino ladder match, which I'm convinced that Tony Khan made for me as a treat. He said, you know, she's had a tough move-in week and a first week of classes, so we are going to put Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta Ceremieto, Ray Phoenix, Dante Martin, Rouge Andrade, and a mystery opponent in a ladder match together. And that is just for me. So we're going to start with who is the mystery opponent. So everybody in the match has like a partner except for Dante Martin. Now, Darius Martin is out on injury because he got into a car accident back in April, and it was suspected that he would be out for 6 to 8 months. Now, it has only been 5, and I don't want him to rush coming back, but that's my initial gut instinct that they're going to bring him out so that Dante as a ally. My second thought is MJF, which I don't think is going to happen, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention it. I think that people are thinking a free agent, which perhaps, but like the names that they're throwing around, like I don't watch WWE, but from what I understand, like Braun Strowman was not like a ladder match guy. I don't know if it quite fits his style and would be the best use of his talents into an entrance for All Elite Wrestling. It could be Forbidden Door, perhaps, possibly Orange Cassidy, because he's not on the pay-per-view, so maybe he just won't be on the pay-per-view. But also, I also think that anytime there's a mystery opponent, now we have to consider Danhausen, which is funny. I would kind of like to see him throw himself off of a ladder. I think that would be funny. As for who I think is going to win, they gave Rey Fenix an extra match on Rampage after a match on Wednesday, and again, a treat. I love Rey Fenix, but I'm thinking Rey Fenix because they kind of are giving him a little storyline going into it, or Wheeler Yuta, but that's just for me because I really like Wheeler Yuta. So those are my two choices. Next, we have Wardlow and FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. So, something about me. I am from the Detroit area. Now, I don't follow Impact, so I have no clue about them. But Chris Sabin seems really annoying, and that's great. Love him. Love somebody who's annoying. Now, obviously, I think that Wardlow and FTR are gonna win. But I think it's gonna be fun. And I will probably end up rooting for the Motor City Machine Guns just because I love them going. Just made me laugh. Chicago hated it, which was so funny. I didn't know that we had so much beef. I thought that was just like a sports thing, but apparently they're really mad about it. Next, we have Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Very excited for this. I think that Hobbs is gonna win, but I wouldn't be mad if Ricky won. This is a win-win for me. I'm very excited for Hobbs to like start to get his moment to shine. He first of all, continuously best dressed. I'm so excited to see what outfit he pulls out. It's great. Very excited. Next, we have Jade Cargill versus Athena for the TBS Championship. I wish I was more excited about this. I just am not quite. I think that they were probably supposed to have it be against Chris Statlander, or that Chris Statlander was supposed to go against Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship, but then she unfortunately got injured, and I think that Jade's gonna take this because I still don't feel like I know enough about Athena for her to take it, and I think that the plan is for her to take it. It just doesn't feel like it's quite there yet, which is disappointing. Like, it's disappointing that I feel like they haven't gotten the time to build it, because I do really fear that they are going to have this break Jade's streak, and it will come, I think, with a bit more of a whimper than they imagined. Like, the breaking needs to be like this really big moment, and I don't even know. I mean, it probably does have to happen on pay-per-view. I don't know enough, but like, I don't know. So I have very mixed feelings about this. Because again, I really do fear that she's going to break her streak, and if she doesn't break her streak, then it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, she won again, which will be cool. And again, I think it's nice to. I love watching Jade in a competitive match every once in a while because we don't see it very often. But I hope that things will perhaps go differently. So, you know. Anyway, moving on. Next, we've Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed for the Tag Team Championships. So I think that I am in the minority here when I say this. But I still see The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn as the bad guys. Like, I'm just not for hitting your kids. So when Austin, when they left, I was like, good for Austin and Colton. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to deal with that. Go join him. What is his name? Stokely. Go get a new chance. So I'm sure there will be perhaps some shenanigans with that will probably lead to Swerve and Our Glory winning. But I think that Swerve and Our Glory is gonna win. Next, very sad, Thunder Rosa had to vacate the Women's Championship. So now we will have Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter in a 4-way match for the championship. I think that Toni Storm is being set up to win, but again, I still feel like I don't know enough about Toni, and she's been here for a while, so I don't even know if that I'm allowed to like say that because she has had things just built up. I just don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I would like Jamie Hayter to win. I think that she is very cool and very interesting, and I like her gear. And they kind of had a storyline where Britt Baker and her were having like a little bit of trouble, and the women don't usually get to have like a swerve moment. So I like the idea of it then. Like, I like the idea of Jamie pinning Britt to win. Like, doesn't that just feel good? Oh, but I think Tony's gonna win, which is fine. I just think it's a little bit less interesting. Next we have the Elite versus the Dark Order for the trios titles. The Dark Order, of course, featuring Hangman, and the Elite being the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which Tony put together because he likes to hurt me personally. I really hope that the Dark Order wins, and I think I might cry if they do. Now, I will not be mad if Kenny Omega came back to win the trios titles at all. That will still be plenty satisfying. It'll be a great ending. I think that they deserve it. I know that people have a problem with like the Young Bucks getting championships. I don't care. I think that they're good. So if you're good, you championship. But I really want the Dark Order to win. I really want them to win. And last but not least, we have Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the AEW Championship. I don't know how to feel about this. So, I want Mox to win because Punk has been making me angry. His little thing last on Wednesday was very cute. I thought it was very interesting. I thought that producer man coming out who trained Punk and hyping him up was very interesting. I think it was another ripple to Punk's character that we haven't seen. I haven't seen yet. You probably might have saw it in AEW and WWE, but I haven't seen it in AEW. I know it was something very interesting, but I still want Mox to win. I like that the Blackpool Comedy Club has a bunch of belts. I think it's sick. My other theory is that CM Punk wins and we get the return of MJF and they begin a fight for the championship. Now again, I don't know if MJF's going to come back. The most recent report that I've seen is sometime soon, but I stopped looking up articles because there's too much. So it will be very interesting to see how this story plays out. But I don't know. I was never a big Mox girl. Not a big Mox girly. But lately, honestly, it was the Effie match. Him and Effie, like, I was like, that's it. So, great. New fan. I bought my Blue Combat Club hoodie, like, fantastic. And also, Punk is just making me angry. Pissing me on. So that was, I guess, are my predictions. I guess my last prediction would be Mox, and if not, it would be Punk, but with like an extra element or something there. So yeah, I'm very excited. I keep telling my roommates how excited I am for this. Like, this is so many matches, and I fear that there may be a couple that get cut. I don't know. They haven't been paying a lot of attention to Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage, I don't feel like, anymore, but I think that's just because the beginning of the storyline was so explosive. That's the only one that I was like, I fear that might get cut. Maybe Swerve and Our Glory versus the Acclaimed, but that's in the tag championship, so that just doesn't feel right to me. So these all feel like matches that you like have to have because like they're for championships or they're big storyline payoffs or yeah. So we shall see. I don't know if I will have a review for this show or if I'll just talk about it in maybe a Wednesday video. I'm hoping to have a non-wrestling video up between this and whatever my next video is, but again, I am starting to get a little bit more busy and I have 3 roommates now, so filming times are a little bit odder. So I guess we shall see. But I hope that this video brought you some rest, some relaxation, and some tingles. Please let me know what you think of my predictions. Love it. Seeing people talk about this kind of stuff and speculate.